Yo, yo, what's up, my people? It is Friday. It's Friday. Yeah, it's Friday. It's Friday. I'm doing my Friday dance. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Cornelius, aka Mr. No Limits, aka Mr. Confidence, your confidence and achievement coach to help you achieve, succeed, and thrive. Well, today I am excited because it's Friday. It's such a beautiful day out here. It's 1 p.m. on the West Coast time, and the sun is shining brightly. It is so beautiful out here. I feel like sound like I'm a disc jockey. I sound like a disc jockey over here. The sun is what's up, Arthur? Man, I could always count on you coming into the broadcast, man. What's going on, brother? What's going on? The Man, this beautiful sun shining out here. I hope the weather's good in Vegas. I'm supposed to be out in Vegas here in a few weeks. It's supposed to be next weekend. Might not be to the week after. So hopefully the weather's nice out there as well. But yeah, you know what? It's freaking beautiful out here. Sunny San Diego. We've been having some crazy abnormal weather here for this winter here. A lot of rain and cold temperatures. Heater still running. And I was like, man, this is not why we moved to San Diego. We didn't move to San Diego to get all this rain and cold. But you know what? It is what it is. And that's what, this season is changing. My daughter keep on saying, Dad, I've seen a lot of butterflies. I've seen a lot of butterflies. I say, sweetie, it's a sign of the change of time. That means that, it's spring is almost upon us. And because spring is upon us, the weather's going to change. But listen, check it out. Today I got my brand colors on. If you guys follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I'm always wearing, most of the time, 85% of the time, I'm wearing something red because that's my brand color. And I did a personality test a few months ago, or late last year, and I guess to my surprise, or not so much surprise, my personality color is red, which I think in this particular test stands for, organized, go-getter. One that my wife pointed out to me, arrogant sometimes, or selfish. I'm like, I don't think I'm selfish and arrogant. I'm very confident. I don't think arrogant was one. It was selfish sometimes. Like, oh wow, okay. But anyways, all these personality tests are not a science. It's not an exact science. So but it does help you kind of see where you are in your how you think and whatnot, and how you interact with other people. So me being a red, I was like, man, that's my brand color. I've been wearing red for some time now, so I'm glad that my personality is a red, which is confident, organized. I like to take risks, but I like to also know some, what's going on, know some of the details, but I don't need to know all the details. A little bit of all that here. So listen, today, I'm excited because I have this beautiful lady I met out in LA a few weeks ago, and her and I be kind of chatting back and forth tonight, and we instantly connected because of her theme and my theme for for our message and helping people, impacting people is limitless. From hers is Limitless Living, and you'll hear from her coming up shortly when I see her come online. And for mine is No Limits. If you see a lot of my tags, No Limits. I got my hat right in front of me here. This is my own brand. It's the name of my company, No Limits Consulting and Coaching. And it's my story, and I love sharing with people. My background. My background is pretty diverse, and I'm not even speaking professionally. But my background is diverse, and as it pertains, how did I come to this mindset of a limitless living, or no limits, as I like to call it. So I have hats around. I have shirts. Everything is branded. Everything is branded, No Limits. And so I'm excited about having her on. So we connected instantly. When she said, I speak on Limitless Living, like bam, instant connection. And just knowing that, she has, we're in the same mental space of, what we're thinking and how we live our lives, and what are some of the things that we can do to help other people. I don't see her online yet, so I'm going to keep on running my mouth and chatting until I see her online, and I'll bring her in. But, her name is Angelique Jackson, and she's an executive coach, as I put in the description, an executive coach helping people elevate their life and whatnot. What's up, Augustus, man? How's everything, man? Good to see you. What's going on? Let me do a wave. Let me do a wave at you. When I do these Facebook lives here, I'm so in the zone. The brother get in the zone, and I see people come up their name pop up and whatnot, say, hey, such and such has joined the broadcast. If I don't wave at you, don't get, or don't acknowledge you on the broadcast, please don't get offended. Just that when a brother get in this thing, I get in the zone. and I do my thing here. But while I'm not yet quite all the way in the zone, I wanted to definitely give some shout outs to folks who are watching the video. Esther, hello to you. Good afternoon. Just a few things. Go back, when you get some time, everyone go check out my Facebook. First, start with my Facebook profile since you're right there on Facebook. Go check out my Facebook profile and my Facebook page, Cornelius Speaks, but mainly my profile. I put most of my content on my profile, and you'll see some little small videos that I've been putting out over the past couple weeks here. But then once you finish doing that, I want to urge you to go to my Instagram page. Cornelius Speaks, and that's where you're going to find more great content. People who knew me in my past life, who knew me before I moved to California here in Georgia. My role used to be a pastor, and even though I was a Christian pastor, I'm no longer a Christian pastor. Even though I was a Christian pastor, my message was never, I look back over, 8 years of ministry and whatnot, and my message was really never, you need Jesus, you need Jesus. That was not my talk. That was not what I shared mostly from the pulpit. It was really about living a successful life and living a good, a good successful life, some basic principles for successful living. And so that's what, I talked about the most. And so when you go to my Instagram page, you'll see, hey, Angelique, I see you, sweetie. So when you go to my Instagram page, you'll see a lot of content that's geared around personal development, personal empowerment, self-care, self-help, and of course, achievement and confidence, and just living that limitless life. And so, what I did for those who may be, watching this video who have not seen me on Facebook in a while, or have not seen anything in a while, for those who may know me from Georgia, my message has changed a little bit, but it's really all about what it was before. It's just empowering people to live a successful life, empowering people to live a successful life, no matter what their background is, no matter what their choice of spiritual journey, whether it's Christianity, no anti whatsoever. It doesn't matter. The one thing I know and always believed, is just that it doesn't matter there are core principles that, whether it's enlightenment, Christianity, this, that, the other, there are core principles that there are common across all these different schools of thoughts. And so I teach and I help empower people to live an empowered life, successful life. It doesn't matter what your beliefs is, because my intention is not to get you to go to Jesus or go to Buddha or anything like that. It's really just to live your best life and live a life that you can live. And a big part of that, which is a good segue into bringing in Angelique, a good segue to that is understanding that we are infinite. I want to stress that over and over again. We are infinite beings with limitless potential. Infinite beings with limitless potential. And I've built my business around that theme: no limits consulting and coaching. And of course, as I said earlier, this is my hat that I wear often. This is my brand logo, what have you, for that same thing here. So enough about me. I've talked about that enough. Again, go out to my Instagram page. Go out to Cornelius Speaks on Instagram. If you're not following me, follow me. Go check out some of the content and definitely share it out with people. But without further ado, let me reintroduce, please, just briefly, and she's going to do some more introduction of herself. Miss Angelique Jackson. I call her Glamour Lady. I was, kind of in my Friday clothes for the day, and I had to go change my clothes to get on this interview. My daughter asked me, "It's like, Dad, why are you changing your clothes? Don't you're just doing a live?" I said, "Well, I'm doing a live with someone," and I said, "I want to make sure that I match her style, because she's a stylish woman, but now she's a stylish lady." I said, "I want to make sure that I get myself all together. That way, I'm not looking all crazy and whatnot." So, Angelique, I'm looking tight, girl. And so we're going to bring you into this broadcast so that you can start sharing your journey with us and be able to, just give the people some deeper understanding about this limitless living that you talk about, similar to what I talk about. So let's bring her in. It's Friday. It's Friday. Woo, long week for me. I got some things going on, but I'm going to get them done. I'm focused. I'm clear. My mind is clear. My mental energy is flowing properly. And so I'm excited to hear about, what the next few days, even maybe even the next few hours, what's the next few days is going to hold Just gonna hold for me here. Let me see, can I get her in again? It declined. Her and I, we test this out this morning to make sure that she can come online. And sometimes, Facebook just be acting crazy. Y'all remember the other day? Hey, Angelique. Y'all remember the other day?
Hey,
Facebook went down.
I
Now,
got
it kind of set this up just a little bit. Uh, so over the weekend, I was detoxing from social media. I turned off all my notifications. I said, you know what? I don't want to see no Instagram posts. I don't want to see no likes, comment. I don't want to see none of that stuff. I was just like detoxing from social media. And when Instagram went down, 2 days ago, I was trying to post my content up, and it took me about an hour to figure out that it was not my fault. It was actually Instagram. And the problem was in all this here is that I was so livid and so it's like even though I knew it was down, I kept on checking the doggone notification to see if anything was popping up. I hate that I become so addicted to Instagram, and maybe our sister Angela is going to help me, kind of get off that thing because it's I won't say it's definitely not tearing me up, but just spend too much time. So what's up, Angelique? How you doing?
I am fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing well. Just doing my thing here. I'm excited. I was
Good.
I think hopefully you heard me. I was sharing with the people. I say, hey, I'm interviewing the glamour lady. I'm interviewing Oprah Winfrey. So if you get a chance to interview, I see how she was. She's a beautiful lady. But I'm saying if you get a chance to interview a beautiful lady, you don't come to your doggone interview looking like you're about to go to Walmart. So I said, let
Oh
me
my
go
God.
let me go upstairs and get myself together so that I can
You're so
represent
cute. Thank you.
so that I can represent and match
And I'm
those
very like
ladies.
casual today. Well, my
Is that
version
casual
of
for you?
casual.
Well, man, I
This
hate
is
to
my
see
version
the.
of casual.
Is that your version of casual? Come on, y'all. Y'all know that's not no version of casual. That's her casual. Her casual is like I'm going out to tonight. I hate to see what real casual look like for you. Now, is there some extremes for you? Do you like go like from your version of casual what we see to like, oh wow, who's this? Do you have extremes or are you pretty much the same?
I am, for the most part, I'm pretty much the same.
Hmm.
So my family teases me all the time that I don't know what casual is. Even going to the gym or going on hikes, they say, you still seem to not understand what casual is or whatever. But I like it's my version of casual. I'm happy and I'm comfortable in it. Now,
That's
can
what
I get really glammed up? Yes, I can definitely get very, very glammed up where the hair is down and you have the everything going and in the ball gown and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I can get very, very glam, so to
yes.
speak. But this right here is just my normal everyday.
Wow, wow. When I met you at the City Gala a couple weeks ago, yes, you were glam, and based on what I saw some of your pictures, that was probably, not your full glam come out, but you do have it. So again, I
That
just
was
want to
my
make sure.
business. That was my business professional glam.
So Angelique, tell us a little bit about you. I wanted to introduce everyone to our, bring you before my audience. I have a lot of folks that, occasionally look at my page who are, holistic folks. They're, mental people. They're metaphysics in some kind of fashion. And so
Uh-huh.
definitely this, I think a lot of people can gain some knowledge. So tell us about yourself. Give us a bit of your journey. Who are you?
Okay. Well, as you mentioned, I am the founder and CEO of Be Elevated LLC. And what I do is I'm a transformational, actually a whole life transformational life coach, holistic wellness coach, and executive coach. I'm a speaker, author. I just believe I'm a light. I'm a light worker. I'm someone who can help bring out the very best in others. So that is what I do, is to transform your life. Not to say that your life is in turmoil, but just the transformation to take you up, to keep you moving forward, to help to elevate you, to help to bring out the greatness that was already born as divinely a part of who you are. So bringing out those gifts and helping you get past any kind of barriers, blocks, and blind spots that's keeping you from an abundant mindset. You know,
Okay.
so at the foundation of everything that I do is it starts with your mindset and your perspective. So knowing that, really knowing that life is limitless, that the possibilities are limitless, knowing that abundance is always all around, that is here for us at every at every moment, because it's always there. We don't have to create abundance. abundance is already created for us. We just have to open up our minds and our perspective to see it,
to see
so
it.
that we can see the opportunities and the infinite possibilities, so that we can move forward in our lives.
Okay.
So yeah.
So many questions. So, okay, have you always been this way, or was there some life event or some life event that caused you to become this way, or how did you come into this knowledge?
I would say, I think it's always intrinsically has been a part of who I am. My awareness of it didn't happen or transpire until later on in life. You know,
Mhm.
I've gone through my trials. I've gone through periods of being very resistant. I've gone through periods of being where I felt like I had to have control over the outcome of my life. But now I'm in a space where I lean into my
Leaning in.
receptiveness. I lean into the natural energy and the flow of the universe, and the flow of knowing that all is possible,
Okay, so when you use that
without
phrase,
any
when you use that
doubts.
phrase, when you use that phrase, lean into, for the listeners as well as for me as well, what in a practical sense, what are you doing? I know you probably do it kind of subconsciously because you've been doing it for a while, but what are you doing to lean into the flow or whatever
Mhm.
how you say it?
Well, I have guiding principles. So I have some principles that, in rituals and practices that I do on a daily basis, that helps me to lean into exactly what I'm meant to do, leaning into my purpose, leaning into that flow of just being receptive. So, some of the things I do is, one, I have a daily self care regimen, because it starts intrinsic, it starts with myself. So, that self care is important because, like Iana says, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you're constantly giving out everything you have and running yourself into the ground, and not feeling, refueling yourself and really bringing back that essence of who you are, you have to fill your cup first before you can be at balance and be at peace, and be able to go out there and help others. So that's the first thing, is just really being in alignment with my own self-care, my own well-being. I have a part of that self-care in the daily rituals. I meditate and pray on a daily basis. So the first thing I do in the morning is, I don't hop on my social media or my emails or any of those things.
Okay.
I don't do that. I used to do that. That
Uh-huh.
was one of the things, and I ran myself, I drove myself crazy when I did that, especially when I was working in corporate America. I literally would, first thing in the morning, let me pop open my laptop before I brush my teeth or anything else, as gross as that may seem. I'm like, oh no, I have to see what's going on. Although emails didn't really change between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Right,
but
right, right. Why do we do that? Yes.
but I would hop on, and I would take up the morning. And then my mindset was so geared towards all the drama or the things of that. So the first thing that I do now is, I wake up, I give thanks and gratitude for life. So that's a part of my prayer, part of my meditation. I go within, and then I just center myself in my energy, so that I started off in a positive light, feeling good about starting my day. And then the
Mhm.
second thing is, I write in I have 3 journals that I write in. So I have a self-care journal, a gratitude journal, and I have I guess you can call it like a goal manifestation journal. So it's really about, like, what are my goals are? What are the things that I want to accomplish? I don't really call it a to-do list, because sometimes when we think about a to-do list, we think, oh, I have to do these things today, or
Right.
I have to get this done. So what I do is, I look more so at, here are my goals that I want to achieve. How do I get to that? And then create the steps necessary to move in that direction and flow in that direction. So that's a part of me leaning into being receptive versus
Mhm.
being resistant. Because now, as things happen, I'm not, if something that's out of my control should happen, because life happens. So let's say that I'm supposed to be somewhere, but yet my car breaks down. I'm not going to
Hmm.
stress myself out because
Right.
I know
Right.
that things are still going to flow. I'm not going to worry or be in that
Yeah.
space. So part of my so by starting off the day like that, then I am able to have more openness to whatever happened, and I'm able to overcome those things a lot better because my mindset is more at calm
Sure.
than
Sure.
starting it off with stress or
Right.
worry.
Yeah. So
So that's
you're
one of the things.
you're into the flow, and because you're into the flow, I don't know if this is how you look at it. This is how I understand what you're saying. When life happens, you like you said, the tire, flat tire, or the car won't start, whatever it is. Because you're in the flow, you see that as a part of the flow, and so you don't resist it. You don't. Oh man, oh, I can. If then once you get that energy going, then everything just starts. You kind of jump
Right,
that flow. So
right.
that's a good point. So point to note those who are watching the broadcast and the replay. Just remember that when if you do these steps that Angelique is talking about, however you do it and however long you need to do it, it helps put you in that state of receptivity, as she says, versus resistance. And when something happens, you don't look at it as, and so that's very helpful for me. And I typically practice that, when my wife, on the other hand, sometimes she's like, oh no, man, just go with it, just go with it.
Just go with
But not
it.
all the time. If I don't do that self care, that inner work first, no, the brother
Mhm.
will respond a different way. And so thank you for sharing that. I like
Exactly.
that. Like you said, that receptive versus resistance, receptive versus
Yes.
resistance.
Because
That can make
there's
it.
there's 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 that I mean, when you're in a mindset and in a receptive mindset versus a resistant mindset, you look at life differently. Your perspective of life is different. So instead of looking at life happening to you, you're now looking at life happening for you. Instead
For
of
you.
looking at, yes, for you. Because even with all the things like the flat tire or whatever may happen, it's happening for you in some way, in some shape or form, as long as you don't look at it as something that stress you out at that moment and you get riled up. Because life really happens for you in your favor. Everything that we do happens for us in our favor.
I hope you guys
Versus,
are getting this. She's kicking some wisdom to us. I hope you guys are getting this. All these things, I've quoted this before, they are happening for you, not against you, not to you. So get this, y'all. Go ahead.
right, right. Because when you look at life and you look at it, when you look at it and say, oh my God, all these things are happening to me. Why is it happening to me? Why? And you think of it as you get into this mindset. It's like, oh, woe is me. And then you get into like a victim mindset
Mm-hmm.
um, or a anger mindset, or you think of it as something that because you're looking at it as everything is happening to me. Why
Right.
me? And there's sometimes and for each individual is a little different. There's some
Mm-hmm.
individuals where it's it may be a part of just who they are or not, depending on where their mental capacity is,
Right.
or what's going on, or their individual journeys. But some of the things, when I talk about shifting your mindset, when I talk about shifting your perspective, and when I work with my clients, and why I don't really have a cookie cutter, I have a foundation as
Mm-hmm.
to steps that you can take, but each individual person is a little different. And so we look at that individual, and I look at them and I say, how can I help you along your journey? What can we do, and what steps do we need to take so that you can start to shift your life in the direction that you want to shift it in? Now, I am not able to help everyone because I am not a licensed um, therapist. I'm a
Right. Right.
life coach. I'm a certified life coach, but I'm not a licensed therapist. So for those who may need help in form of a therapeutic
Right.
side, I refer them over. So that's why initially I look at them, and I do an initial intake, a
Right.
free consultation first before I take them on as a client. because I
Okay.
don't want to tell someone that it's just that simple. Because for some people, it isn't just as simple as shifting your mindset. They need a little bit more than that. So for those individuals, I highly encourage them to go to a therapist versus a life coach.
Okay.
But for
So
people who I can help, that is when we go along the path of saying, how can I help you shift your mindset or shift your perspective so that you don't look at life as happening to you, but life is happening for you, so that you can look at life from an abundance growth mindset versus a scarcity or lack mindset.
okay. So when it comes down to shifting the mindset, the paradigm of your clients, once you assess that, yes, this is not some therapy, this is not a therapy issue or some kind of chemical imbalance or something like that, you can really
Right.
help them. What is, what are some of the common first steps? I'm not sure you have the same first step all the time, because I know I don't. It depends on the person.
Mm-hmm.
But what are some of the,
Mm-hmm.
in your mind, you're kind of like, okay, your first step, go to, okay, I need to help this person do this first. How do you get
Mm-hmm.
them to that first step to transition or to start shifting?
hmm Well, the first thing I do is I have them go through different activities or exercises. So first is that initial intake. There are specific questions that I ask on that intake survey or form and in our consultation calls, so that I look at where they are now.
Okay.
What is their mindset now? How do they think now? So how there are questions like, um if this situation should happen, what steps would you take? Would you lean more here or over there? And that what that does is allow me to see the type of mindset that they currently have. Like, what is their mindset around money, or what is their mindset around time, or what is their right mindset around relationships or career or themselves? So looking at all of those things first and foremost. And I also have them go through a life wheel exercise to see where they spend a lot of their energy, see where they're putting their time, what they see, as an issue in their life. And then we go through discovering like what their three B's are, what their barriers, their blocks, and their blind spots are, because
All right.
it's different, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So those are some of the initial steps. So we find out and we go through a discovery to see exactly where you are currently, and then create a plan of action to move them forward to shift their mindset.
Awesome. Good. Awesome. Good. Thanks for sharing that. So let's
Yeah.
kind of dig deeper into this limitless living here. That's why people's tuning
Mhm.
in. They want to know how
Yes.
they can. Yes, I want to know to your perspective. I want to know how they can live this limitless life that you and I both talk about in our own way.
Yeah.
And I want to start by asking the question is, why do you feel, or tell the audience why, or those who are watching, why do you feel that we are limitless beings? What is it that that can help them at least start looking at that?
Okay. Well, I mean, it really depends on the individual. I look at it from a spiritual standpoint, but I also look at it from a just a life universal standpoint. When you look at, and I shared this on a live yesterday, when people say the sky is the limit, and I challenge them on it. I'm like, the sky isn't the limit. Why would you limit yourself to the sky? Because you're saying that there's nothing beyond the sky, that there
Mhm.
isn't more. And when you look at the universe and our world is ever expanding, ever growing, there's so much more. There's infinite possibilities or infinite growth that happens. You hear about it from a scientific standpoint and from a spiritual standpoint, that the universe is ever expanding and ever growing, that is goes out into infinity. So why would we think as human beings that's connected to source,
Well,
that's
right.
connected to this, our spirit, because this body is just our vessel. Our
Mhm.
spirits are connected to something much higher. And so when we look at it from that perspective, why would you say that you're limited? You're not.
Yeah, so that could be part of the problem as I'm hearing you talking is that folks are not understanding that this body that we live in does not define us. We're actually a spiritual
Mhm.
being. And so having that awakening awareness that we are spiritual can help them connect to what you're saying, to what we're both be saying about this limitless living, no limits,
Mhm.
living. And so for those who are, watching the broadcast but not, understand what the is saying, that we are in the Christian term, spirit, soul, and body, or body, soul. You have this spirit here, what you are. And so being able to connect yourself, be able to understand that you're a spirit will help you make that connection to this limitless living that you have potential or access to. Okay, so now give us some. You mentioned earlier about the word abundance, and we all have their own definition, or when we say abundance, some people mean some people connect that to money, some people connect that to relationships, some people connect it to whatever it is. Speak to us about your understanding of abundance and why we should not be concerned about where our next thing is going to come to. Because hey, why worry about this when we live in this abundant world, this abundant life? Give the listeners something to help them say, you know what, I need to learn more about this abundance thing.
Repeat that one more time because it went a little bit low where I couldn't hear you as
Sure.
well.
So basically, what I'm asking you to help us understand more clearly and maybe deeply how is it that we live in an abundant world? How do we get access to this abundance that folks like you and myself and so many others talk about? What evidence do we have, and how do we tap into that?
What evidence do I have about how we can live limitless?
No, live the abundance, not necessarily you, just in general. If I walk into somebody and say, hey, why are you stressing over this? Why are you, worried about this here? You live in an abundant life. You live in this abundant world. They may say to me, have they happy for what you mean that we live in an abundance world? How do I, if it's so abundant, why am I suffering? Why I'm lacking this? And so my question, if you had that kind of scenario, how would you help that person believe, like, no, you do have an abundance. You do have access to an abundance. Because you have a lot of people, there's a lot of folks out there. I was once there myself, where I had this not necessarily impoverished mentality, but a lack mentality. And that lack mentality, kept me for many years out of abundance that I know we have. And so that's what I'm trying to get. I know there's people out there that think that way. And so how can we help them move from this mindset of lack into a mindset of abundance?
Okay, well, I mean, there's steps that you can take. It's not something that happens overnight. And I always give the advice or encourage individuals to say, it's not a shift. It's not like a light switch. You can't just shift it on and say, okay, now I'm going to think abundantly and it's just everything's just going to be fantastic. So the next day, everything is great. I'm now thinking abundance. But so I always say that think about it this way, depending on how old they are. Let's say that they're 30. Like for 30 years, you've had a lack mindset. So let's look at how we can start to shift certain ways of doing things, certain ways of phrasing things. How do you view what it is that's happening? And so through some series of exercises that they can do, I mean, within 21 days, you can start to shift your mindset when you do it on a consistent basis. And it takes consistency to get there. I have not always been like this. I didn't always have an abundance mindset. I didn't always have a growth mindset. I've had times where I said things like, for instance, with time, people will say, I don't have enough time in the day to do anything. Is that an abundant mindset or is that a limited mindset?
Limited mindset, yeah. It's a limited mindset.
Huh?
I said that's a limited mindset. Yes.
It's a limited mindset because we all have the same 24 hours. And we've heard this multiple times. Like we all have the same 24 hours. Your 24 hours is no different from the 24 hours of other individuals who are successful. So the thing is that their thoughts on time is different from our thoughts. When we start to say things like, I cannot do this because of this, that's a limited mindset. I cannot do this because I don't have enough time. That's a limited mindset, as opposed to going into it saying, this is my time. What can I do with my time? How am I going to utilize my time? Or what can I do that's going to help me to look at things and look at life more abundantly,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's our own self-talk. How do we talk to ourselves? And then secondly is how do we say the things, when we are sharing something, how are we expressing it? Are we expressing it from a point of resistance? Are we expressing it from a point of control? Are we expressing it from a point of fear? Are we expressing it from a point of not seeing the possibilities? So we have
Hmm.
to look at our own self-talk and the way that we're speaking about things to help us to move into that next phase, into being more abundant thinking, more growth mindset, you know.
Right. Okay. So again, somebody's listening to you now. They're hearing like, yes, Angelique, this is how I talk. I talk like this here. What can I do? Tell me some things that I can do with me because this is ruining my life. I can't get nothing done. I'm always stressing. Blah 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 blah. Tell me something, Angelique. What can I do right away to start talk? What would you offer them?
I'm sorry, repeat that one more time because the volume is really low and I couldn't hear you.
Yeah.
I
So
don't know what happened to the
my
volume.
my question was for those who are listening and who know they have issues with their I should say those who know they're stressing or they feel they're they're coming from this place of lack or they have a lack mindset and they know their talk. I never be able to do that. Nobody will trust me. I don't have enough. And whatever those talk is, what are some things they can start doing immediately, instantly to start getting some results to start changing how they talk? What tips can you share with them?
Okay, so some of the things that they can instantly do to be able to start to shift their mindset.
Yes, it would not shift their mindset the larger part, but shift their self-talk. Their self-talk.
Oh,
So
to
shift.
shift their self-talk. Okay. So some of the things is like I'm a firm believer in affirmations
Hmm.
and writing our own personal affirmation and saying those affirmations to ourselves on a daily basis
Okay.
and starting it off with things that are more open, like I am this, or I have infinite time. I have unlimited possibilities. I am this. And so
Hmm.
by starting your day off, writing those things down, saying it and practicing it on a daily basis, it will help to shift
Okay.
your perspective and your own self-talk and your mindset. Because now you're seeing yourself differently. Now you're talking and you're doing it and you start to believe it. Because when you say something to yourself multiple times, you
Yeah.
start to believe it. Just as if when someone is you've heard from individuals like, well, I've been told that I'm no good my whole life. So I just said, fine, I must be no good. So I'm going to go ahead and be no good.
I
You
guess
know,
I'm no good here.
right?
Yes, I've heard that. Yes, 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 yes.
So,
And
but when
yeah.
someone speaks life to you, you think when you grow up and you're told you can do anything. Like, for
Hmm.
instance, my Nana, who is my mentor, who is my everything, she was the person who really instilled life in me. She would always tell me, you can accomplish anything you want to accomplish in life. There is nothing you can't do. Don't let anyone tell you you can't because you can. And
Okay.
because when she was growing up, being a dark complected woman, she said that people would say you will never get anyone because you're not beautiful, you're not attractive, you're like, she was 5 foot nothing.
Hmm.
But she could walk in the room and you would think she was 6 feet tall because she had such confidence and
Hmm.
belief in herself that nothing was out of her reach, and
Hmm.
that she could do whatever she wanted in this life because this was her life,
Okay.
and she knew and had faith and belief in in what our higher creator
Right.
instilled in
Yeah.
her.
Right.
And when
Okay. So
you
we got.
have that,
Hmm.
that makes it so much easier to shift over. Once you get that faith and that belief and that confidence and that knowingness in knowing that your inner gifts, that you were put here, because I always say that we were born from greatness into greatness to be greatness.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. All
So
right. So
when
we
you
got a
look
few
at it like
minutes.
that, there's the possibilities are endless.
Are endless. Okay, so we have a few more minutes, got maybe 4 more minutes here before we sign off today. We'll be on almost 30 minutes here, at least our interview portion 30 minutes. So what are some reading materials or something to help? So if they're hearing you talk, you know what, I'm I want to learn more about this. What are some books, audios, whomever authors that you would recommend folks to start learning more
What
about
are some what?
this mental? Say again.
I lost your what you said.
I'll wait till you stop moving.
Uh, I don't know if it's my volume or if it's yours, but I couldn't hear you.
Okay. So my question is, what are some books, authors you would recommend people to start reading to learn more about this?
Oh, okay. Book. Oh my gosh. You really want me to go down the list of all the books?
Just
There
ones
are
that come
some
to mind.
incredible books out there. I read, and that's another thing. It's like reading and knowledge and constantly, um, like just learning. When we're always learning, that helps us have a more of a growth mindset. When we are constantly knowing that there's more for us to absorb, that's something. So I would say some of my favorite books. Oh, geez. I love Eckhart Tolle. So The Power of Now is an
Right.
excellent book.
Power
So
of
Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, A New Earth is by Eckhart Tolle is another one. Um, Good to Great, I love that. So From Good to Great, that's another incredible book. Um, let's see, there's just so many books that are out there that I would say. So it really depends on what it is that they want.
mhm.
I would say my book that's coming out would be a
There
great
you
one,
go. There you
of
go.
course, you know, and that's called There Is No Sky, 12 Guiding Principles to Living Your Life Limitlessly.
Mhm.
So that will be launched this spring, towards the middle of spring. Let's see, there's other authors. I would say also, if you don't tune in to Oprah's Super Soul Sunday, tune in because she has some incredible guests that are on there. YouTube is filled with
Yes.
incredible individuals.
Yes.
I have my YouTube playlist the inspiration. So like Les Brown, I love Eric Thomas, um, Gary V, just because
Mhm.
he's just so just
Raw.
raw and just authentic, you know,
Yes. Authentically raw.
he's gonna
Like
tell you like it is, no holding back. But so those are some of the things, and then depending on like your spiritual journey,
Mhm.
because feeding your spirit is at the core of everything. That's at the core of your self-care. Whatever your spiritual walk may be, whatever your religious beliefs may be, fundamentally at the core essence of every last one of those, that is that spiritual connection and knowing that we are connected to something more, something higher, something
Right.
greater than this vessel, than this time.
Awesome.
So, reading on whatever it is that feeds your soul and feeds your spirit, go with that. Another thing would be, oh, there's just so many grades. There's
Right.
just so much. So that's
Right.
just a few, and I can
Yeah.
I can put in the comments some other recommendations depending on if it's from a financial standpoint, from a personal development, from a spiritual standpoint, whatever that may be. So
Yeah.
I'll do that. I'll put it in the
My
comments. But those are
my
just at top of mind. Those are some of my favorite.
my first book I read on the subject of the mind was by Dr. Joseph Murphy. It's called The Power of the
Yes.
Subconscious Mind. Angelique, I read that book, and I was still pastoring at the time. I read
Uh-huh.
that book, and it was from there. I started
It was
soaring.
right. I
I,
read that one. That's another very good one.
I'm not gonna get into now because we need to sign off. But yes, I started. I soared. I was eating it up. I can say this now because I'm not pastoring anymore, but I was spending more time. I was spending more time reading subconscious mind books than I was the Bible towards the end of my ministry because I was just a sponge. Give me more, give me more, give me more. And it just elevated my mind and my spirit. Just let me rephrase. It elevated my spirit and my mind, man, exponentially. And it's
Yes.
wow. And that's a whole other story. Like, okay, what happened there? But anyways, so yeah, so
Yeah.
listen,
So
Thank
reading,
you.
that's really good, and that reading and that elevation, that soaring. And I want to just share one other thing is the people who you surround yourself with is vitally important to your mindset. So the environment that you're in, the energy that is being fed around you. So those people that you have around you, if they are naysayers and negative Nancy's and always saying, "Oh no, that's not possible," then those are the people you have to reevaluate and say, where do I want them in this
Right.
stage of my life? And be okay with the letting go, because sometimes people are being moved out of our circle to make room for those who are where
Supposed.
we're elevating,
Right.
where we're
Right.
going next.
Right. Very.
And it's okay. Sometimes we have to just be okay with that letting go.
And I like to add like this here. It's okay, and they gonna be okay.
Yes.
They gonna don't worry about.
They
They
will
gonna
be okay.
will be okay. They'll find someone else to leech to, whatever it is. But anyways, let
Exactly.
let me end this because we there's so many things I can listen. Everybody, listen. Go check her out, Angelique Jackson. Find her on Facebook and on Instagram. What is your Instagram username? Be elevated.
My Instagram is Be Elevated Now. So BELEVATED and then now NOW. So Be Elevated Now.
All right, so go to be elevated now and look up here on Facebook as well, and you know
Yes.
go friend her and follow her and just watch the stuff she puts out and whatnot. It's going to help you, you know, as I like to say, achieve, succeed, and thrive because it's all about you being able to you know evolve as a spiritual person, grow as a spiritual person, and so you can be more impactful in this world, in this earthly plane, as well as so you can enjoy this here. You made a choice to come down here. I'm talking to your spirit, if you can follow me. You made
Right.
a choice. Spirit made a choice to come down to this earth. So why aren't you living the choice? You know, living how you want to live. So that's a whole. No, get it all. We can't get to
Now
all
I
that.
agree. That can go. We can talk for another hour and a half on that subject alone, because
And you
that just goes back to we came from greatness into
right.
greatness to be greatness. We were all
You
giving a divine gift to be a light in this world. We fought to come into this world. We made it into this world. When we were born into this vessel, into this life, think about all the, not to get too graphic, but
yes.
just the process in which we are born. We were the ones who came out. We fought and grinded to get there. So why would you come into this world thinking that you're not meant
Yeah.
to have greatness?
Let
Why
me
would you come
look.
into this world thinking that you're meant to live and suffer, or
Right.
meant to be mediocre?
Mm-mm.
You were not born mediocre. You were born great,
You were born as Mr. Les
perfectly
Brown
imperfect the
says.
way that you are.
There is, he says there is greatness in. I don't know. I'm not trying to be like Mr. Brown, but I, you know, he is one of my mentors and certified through his coaching and whatnot. But as he would say, you know, there is greatness in you. That's his story, and he's sticking to it. And so, on that note,
Mm-hmm.
guys, we're going to end this here. So Angelique can get onto her thing, so y'all can get onto your thing here. And it's still sunshine in San Diego. So I'm going to go take off these fine clothing, and I'm going to get just relax
Well,
and go chill. Thank you very much, Angelique,
thank
for your
you.
time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm like right over here by the ocean. I'm going over
Oh,
to Santa
nice.
Monica right now.
All good. All right. So one last parting. I can't like to ask this question here. What is a quote that you tend to live by? You tend to, you know, yeah. What is one of your favorite quotes or quote you tend to live by?
What are some of my favorite quotes?
One quote. What is your
One
favorite
quote.
quote? Yes, one quote you like to use or you live by.
One of my favorite quotes, and I actually is with Jim Carrey. And I was
Really?
listening to a video that he had, and I'm gonna share this video because this video is really powerful because it's in alignment with what we're talking about. And he mentioned in this video that I was listening to this morning, he talked about the fact that he realized that nothing was out of his reach. you know, because in this life, when you're connected to, and you know that you're connected to something higher,
Mm-hmm.
everything is right there for you. So the manifestation of your desires, the manifestation of the things that you want is always there.
Mm-hmm.
Because he says that we are infinite beings with infinite possibilities. All we have to do is open our mind to see it. And
Awesome.
that is the quote that I will leave you with.
On that note, go live your life limitless, or as Angelique would say, limitless living. As I would say, no limits, baby. Live life without limits. Peace, everybody. Have a great
Yes, live life limitless. So you say live life without limits. I say live
one.
life limitlessly, but it's the same thing. No limits.
All right. Peace,
So
everyone.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day. Good
Bye.
weekend. Bye.